Welcome to Miva Tech, your YouTube channel for automation, coding, and more. In this video, I am going to show you how you can color the cell text of an Excel file based on its value. I prepared an Excel spreadsheet that contains various client data. We will choose a column, read the cell values, and color the cell text based on the value for every row. Let's jump into the Python code. First, we need to import the load_workbook function from Openpyxl. In the next step, we will open our Excel workbook. For this purpose, we create a variable that contains the absolute file path to the Excel file. Then we use the load_workbook function and pass the Excel file path as an input parameter to open the workbook. Once the workbook is loaded, we need to activate the worksheet. Now we are able to manipulate the cells of the worksheet. How can we color the cell text of an entire column based on its values? Let's take a look at the Excel spreadsheet. For example, let us color the values of the gender column. The first thing we need to do is to find the column and get the index. For this purpose, we loop through the first row of the worksheet and read the cell value of every cell. This can be done with the internal _value method. Let's print the cell values and check out if we get the column names. As you can see, the for loop provides us with all the column names of the spreadsheet. For our example, we need the index of the gender column. If the column name equals gender, we save the index of the cell into a variable. Then we can break the loop. Once the desired column is found, the loop stops and stores the column index in the call_index variable. Let's check if we get the correct index by printing out the variable. As you can see, index 4 was returned. This is exactly what we expected since the gender column is the fourth column in our table. In the next step, we want to color the values of the gender column. To do this, we need to loop through all the rows of the column. We use a for loop and the iter_rows method. The iter_rows method loops through all the rows of the worksheet and returns a tuple for every row. Let's print it out. As you can see, the tuple contains all the cells of the row as cell objects. Now we need to get the desired cell object from the tuple and save its value in a variable. Let's name the new variable cell_value. We can access the desired tuple item by referring to the index number inside square brackets. To do this, we use the variable call_index, which stores the index of our desired column. Since the indexing of a tuple starts at 0, we need to decrease the value of call_index by 1. Then we use the internal _value method. This directly gives us the value of the cell. Printing out the cell_value variable shows us that we get values of the gender column for each row. Since we don't want to color the column name, the first line should not be read. We can realize it by setting the parameter mean_row to 2 in the iter_rows method. If we run the code again, we only get the column values without the column name. Okay, let's move on to coloring the column values in the Excel file. First, we choose a color for every value and save it as a dictionary. The gender column contains 2 possible values, male or female, so we need to choose 2 different colors. I like to use the color picker. Here we can easily select a color by moving the slider and clicking on the color area. Then we copy the hex code of the color and paste it into our dictionary. I choose a blue color for the male value, copy the hex code and paste it into the dictionary. In the same way, I choose a red color for the female value. In the next step, we will color the cell values. First, we need to import the font class from Openpyxl.styles. Then we use an if statement to check if the cell value is in our dictionary. If the cell value is included in our dictionary, we apply the font function to the cell object and assign it to a font class object. We can specify the color using the color parameter of the font object. We use our dictionary and the cell_value variable to set the color. If the cell value equals male, the blue color will be applied, but if the cell value equals female, the red color will be applied. Before we can test the code, we need to save the workbook. This can be done by using the workbook save function. The path of the Excel file must be given as parameter. Therefore, we pass the Excel_file_path variable, which contains the absolute path to our Excel file. After executing the code, we get the desired result. The values of the gender column have been colored. Male appears in blue and female appears in red. Okay, let's try out another example, but this time we will take a column with numeric values, like for example the BMI column. The column contains the body mass index for each client. We want to color the body mass index depending on their value. To do this, we split the possible values into 3 areas. The first area contains all values below 18.5. It means the person is underweight. The normal weight area has a range of 18.5 to 24.9. All values that are 25 or higher belong to the overweight area. Let's adjust our Python code for this example. First, we change the name of the column from which we need the index. Here we need the index of the BMI column. Next, we choose colors for our 3 value ranges. For the underweight BMI values, we choose a light blue color. The normal weight gets a green color. And for the overweight values, we use a red color. Our color dictionary is set up now. Now we need to adjust the if statement for the coloring. We will use 3 separate if statements. If the cell value is smaller than 18.5, the color for underweight will be applied. In the second if statement, we check if the cell value is 18.5 or larger but not larger than 24.9. If it is the case, the color for normal weight will be applied. All other cell values are colored with the color for overweight. Okay, the code is ready to run. Let's check if we get the expected result. After executing the code, our Excel spreadsheet appears with a colored BMI column. The cell texts of the BMI column were colored according to their values. This brings us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more coding content with Python, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.